it's not about the Miami Dolphins defense. It's about the team. They have playmakers all over the place, right? Like when you have playmakers like this, you could give a little bit in the run game. You can even give a little bit in the passing game, right? Like I was watching these old clips from the playoffs, Deion Sanders versus Michael Irvin last night, and it was a battle out there. It was like two heavyweights getting after it. Deion was getting the best of Mike in the first, and then in the second quarter, you had Michael Irvin kind of get off a little bit, caught a comeback, caught a slant, caught a back shoulder, and then you see Troy Aikman throw this pick. He overthrew him, and he got a pick, right? Mm-hmm. So I say that because when you have a guy like Jalen Ramsey, and then you still have Howard over there, it'd be interesting to see if they keep both of them. But when you have those guys, you can give a little bit because what you're expecting is they're going to change the game. Those guys, within a second or two, can change the outcome of any type of run, any type of game. So I'm excited to see how they show up as a team collectively. On the offense, lights out. Tua, if he stays healthy, I mean, they can score at will. They can score any moment, right? We're talking about this RPO. You got these guys that catch a slant or smoke route. They take it the distance. We're talking about 30, 40 yards out. They can go on long, extended drives, 10-play drives, 11-play drives, 12-play drives, methodical football. And then on the defensive side, you got dudes that can pin their ears back and get after the quarterback. And then Jalen Ramsey, not only picking the ball off, but what he also does, stripping the ball. This is going to be interesting. I don't think that they're going to be a top 5 defense, but they'll definitely be great, right? Meaning like turnovers.
You think they're not going to be top 5?
I mean, you got the 49ers, you got the Jets, right? Like you got some guys out there that some units out there that really does some special things. Even the Patriots. Don't sleep on the Patriots. Don't sleep on the Saints. Don't sleep on the Saints defense, bro.
The Patriots will not have a better defense than the Miami Dolphins. No chance.
Historically speaking,
see,
if you look at what Bill
I'm talking about the now. You think the Patriots defense next year is going to be better than Miami Dolphins defense?
Let me look up these stats right now. Let's see why you continue. Let's see how they stacked up last year from a team standpoint. So defense yards allowed last year.
Yeah, we're going to need the stats because
right?
A defense with Xavier Howard on one side, Jalen Ramsey on the other. You got Chubb coming off the edge. You got Jalen Phillips coming off the edge. There's no reason. There's no reason why they don't have at least the best defense in the AFC East.
In the AFC East. So last year they were, middle of the pack. The Miami Dolphins. Where were the Patriots? The Patriots was right there. Look, I like a well-coached defense. A lot of times you gotta. It's not always about, the star players, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just about the unit. And, look, I'm not saying that the Patriots will be better, but I think they'll be probably better coached. But that's not even a discussion. Who cares about that, right? Like, for me, I think where Jalen is going to really impact this team is in practice, and I think we'll talk about that a little later. Just that juice. The attitude, the swagger, and then obviously on game day, but I think it's going to be more from a big play standpoint because if I'm really being honest, like Jalen hasn't been a lockdown corner over the last 2-3 years. He hasn't. He's been giving up a lot. Go back to the Super Bowl, he gave up a lot, right? But he makes a play. That's the difference, right? Like you may catch a slant, you may catch a touchdown or two on him, but then when the game's on the line and you throw it his way, it's going to probably go the other way. Mm-hmm. And that's where I think he's going to make the biggest impact on that team.
Ashley, what are your thoughts? What are you expecting from Miami's defense next year?
The Dolphins are loaded, and it's funny because Trayvon Diggs and I yesterday on Twitter were going back and forth, and we're sick about it, obviously. Yeah. I mean, not that the Cowboys don't have a sensational defense, but it's like Micah chimed in, and they just keep getting everybody. And I just feel like also, listen, let's call it what it is. The Rams walked away on the losing end of this deal, but I think that they kind of sold their soul for that Super Bowl, and they, in the back of their mind, had to know they were not going back. You know what I mean? It was kind of like that, that shooting star that happens once every couple of decades or something like that. Mm-hmm. They're not going back to the Super Bowl anytime soon, so maybe they're in the mindset of just kind of, now we got to rebuild. Now we got to focus on what the future looks like. I think that it's unfortunate because I think that Matthew Stafford, when he joined the LA Rams, envisioned multiple wins and multiple championships, and that's why he left the Lions in the first place. But, things unfold how they unfold in the NFL, and it's constantly evolving, and it's constantly moving. I think that Jalen's going to be a great asset to the Miami Dolphins. Like I said, they're stacked, I feel like, from both ends of the game. And also, he wants to be there. He spoke about it on Twitter. He's been praying for this, for whatever reason he was unhappy with, his role or his time now in in LA, and he wanted out. And, he now is in an environment where he's happier. And we've seen this before in multiple sports. We've seen it in basketball, we've seen it in football. Sometimes when a player leaves a situation that they're not happy in, and they go to a new environment, especially in an environment they want to be in. They're not traded someplace that they did not want to go. They actually got their wish, and they're in the place that they wanted to be in. It's kind of like you see the phoenix rising from the ashes, essentially, right? You get to see this new revived version of him. The basketball comparison I can make to that is like Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose was in Detroit, and people said his career was over. He was almost sent there to die in terms of, his career. And he comes to New York, and it's a brand new Derrick Rose. He's happy. He's dropping crazy numbers. He's a big part of guiding that young core. And I think the same thing will happen with Jalen Ramsey. I think that he'll be in the situation here in Miami. He wants to be here. He's been praying for it, thinking about it. And I think you'll see a lot more productivity from him than we have seen in the last few years, which it's a fair assessment that he hasn't been the Jalen Ramsey that people are accustomed to seeing. But that could be tied to he didn't want to be there anymore. So we'll see.